Yeah. Anyway, today is Monday. It's 7 p.m. EST, which means it's time for the evening live stream. And what we're doing today is viewer track reviews. I don't know. Is it on? Like, can someone tell me it's on? Like, I'm assuming it is, 'cause people are all responding to it. But anyway, track reviews. So I am no longer using Demo Drop because Demo Drop was bad. It did not do its job very well. So initially, I tried using my email, which was a bad idea because it just flooded it. I tried using Drive. That was a bad idea because either I could have no one have access or everyone had all the access, and that ended up being stupid. So now I made an entirely separate email that is just for live-related stuff. It's called seamlessrlive@gmail.com. It's pretty straightforward. If you scroll down, there's a bunch of instructions and information about how to upload and what to do and all that kind of thing. Essentially, it's the same rules as before. No remixes, all originals. Give me MP3s for reviews. I'm not going to download a WAV file just to review it. It's also going to be the same place where you upload demos for the live mix, the Friday live mix. So either if you want to do either of those, you can do that, but make sure you tag it properly. Make sure you either tag it as a viewer track review, as it says in the instructions, or tag it as a demo. If you want to upload the same track to be reviewed and also in the mix, do it twice, because I'm not going to look at review tracks to be used in the mix. All right, so hello from the mouse stream. Are they? Is he sending people here? Why do people? I'm confused. I'm confused. No remixes because of sampling. That's precisely why no remixes. Because if I try to put this on YouTube, which I want to do, I want to put it on YouTube so people can get, the advice, even if it's not on their tracks. And I can't do that if I get hit for copyright infringement, which I do for remixes. So don't do that. Seamless art. Scroll down. The information is there. I'm going to start the chat spam. To submit a track for review, scroll down. Read instructions. Happy face. Oh, so the related channel. Okay. That makes sense. The Twitch staff Kush post. Well, thank you, Kush. He is too nice to me. All right. Well, what about old movie copyright? Well, it depends on how old the movie is, because there is a statute. There's a limit. There's statute limit. I'm not sure if it's statute limitations. Essentially, if it's 70 years old or more, then we're fine. Oh, what else about that? Covers sometimes are okay. Sometimes YouTube will pick up the melody if it's too consistent. I've been hit on things that I apparently sounded too much like, even though I made it original. I didn't even know what they were hitting me for. So read the instructions. Okay. We have some tracks. Oh, okay. Also, one of the subscriber benefits to my channel, if you're a subscriber, is that I'll give your track preferential treatment if you do submit a track. But the way that this is going to work, because I don't want this to turn into just only a submission thing, which happened last time, is that this is a 4-hour stream. So the first half of the 4 hours is going to be subscriber only, and then if I run out of subscriber tracks, then I'll do regular tracks, and then the second half will be regular viewer only. So this will be interesting because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to tell who's who based on their email. Oh, here, see, this guy was smart. He decided to put his status as a subscriber. Although I don't recommend doing that because I'm not going to be able to verify it. But I am familiar with Mr. Tamablu. play Dubstep Whip. That's pretty good. I felt nice and solid. I like how like sort of upfront and like it wasn't very diffuse. So that like it had good punch, which is kind of uncommon with the kind of submissions I get for this stream. It had nice punch, and most tracks are kind of muddied out with overcompression, that kind of thing. So it worked out pretty good. The sound design was pretty simple, but it was effective. The melodic presence helped with that, and the basses fit well with it. Some of the flow was a little odd during the actual job, so that was interesting. Overall, though, it's a good start. I'm curious to see where that's gonna go. I mean, like I said, the sound design was kind of simple, so like for my own opinion, as far as what I want to hear, it doesn't really mesh with what I like to see. But I can see it being a relatively solid and well performing piece. Somebody in the track asked if there was a guy named a guy who makes techno that has a conflict with my name, and yes, there is another Seamless in the UK who is actually just Seamless, and we've had a back and forth about using the name Seamless and that sort of thing. He did have it first for a little bit longer than I was using it, which is primarily why I am Seamless R officially. That's why that was the deal with that. Initially, you might remember when I actually tried to ditch the R, it was trying to actually just be Seamless. He said that was okay because A, he was in the UK, and B, we did different things. Like we didn't really have the same fan base. But people ended up finding him a lot more than they found me when they're trying to find me, and that caused a lot of confusion, which is precisely what trademarking and stuff like that are supposed to avoid, is the idea of consumer confusion. And then he started entertaining the idea of touring in the United States, and his label and the people who were putting together weren't good on the fact that was also Seamless. It also there's all kinds of conflicts on Beatport when like tracks that I would put up would get attributed to his name, and that would cause a lot of confusion. It was all just bad. So then eventually he came back and said, "Look, I have to have Seamless, and you have to not be Seamless." So then I'm Seamless R. In fact, even a long time ago, he actually said that being Seamless R was all right, and I was just like, well, I guess I'm fine with that, since this was actually before I had a career of any kind, so I didn't really care that my name was weird. In the end, though, it benefits me to be Seamless R, because if you Google Seamless R, you're only going to find me. So I'm okay with that. Anyway, viewer track review. Oh, this guy was nice. He put in the title, "I am not a sub." That was very noble of you. All right, so do any subs... Can you do Mind Please is not perfect? Primargo. See, I don't actually see your email name. I just see the name that you have for your email. Like, see, Mr. Oh my God. Are you sure you sent it, Mr. PW Margo? Because it's not showing up. Like, Peter Margo. That's Peter M. I'm assuming this is you. Yep, there it is. I don't know why I didn't show that when I searched for it. Whatever. Here we go. This format obviously needs tweaking. I don't know what that noise is, like why there's noise like only at those particular mid frequencies, but I thought it was with the bass, but I guess it's not. It feels kind of weird. Maybe it's one of the hats that are just too long at that particular range. This is a weird like mix. Like the track flowed good. Like the flow was cool, and I dig the style, but like your mixing decisions were kind of awkward. Not necessarily wrong either. Like because the drums split through very nice. The side chaining was good, and the punch was good. It didn't feel washed out or anyway. Much like the track before. The only thing is that like the sub presence left much to be desired. The thing is though is that the bass that you played was pretty high. It was rather high register. So having a sub for that might not necessarily work out very well, but what I recommend that you do is you have a truly separate sub. Have a sub frequency bass that's following the MIDI, but not necessarily following it exactly. It's because like when you skip up to play really high notes, actually just kind of have the sub stick down, below. That kind of thing. Sometimes, to have it actually be something that is more or less like a separate instrument kind of following along with things. I think that would help out this track a lot more to have that going on in there along with what you have going on here. Although it is pretty cool doing what it's doing now. Just say it could be better. It was some pretty intense distortion on the bass. Just gonna say that. All right, so my plan to do subs only was kind of bad. Didn't really work out. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and like prefer subs, but like if I can't immediately find one obviously and clearly, I'm just gonna pick another track. I'll figure out a system to work the next time I do this, so that the perk is properly applied. However, obvious ones like this one, I'm just gonna trust when this person says that he is who he is. This track is called Anonymous Horse Apple Picking. I like that little pad right there. Suddenly breakbeat. Not much of an outro, although I'm not 100% sure really what you could have done that wasn't just like a DJ outro. Much like your intro, which, again, it worked. It just wasn't super interesting until stuff started happening. But, like, this is sort of like, you know, the genre, how that genre works. This was a rather solid piece. I was kind of into it. Not so much, you know, the genres that I am particularly into, but it, well, obviously it was, you know, I could groove to it, which was good. I liked it. Some parts felt kind of like the breakbeat part when that came in, that was pretty cool, but like the sounds, suddenly there wasn't enough backing for some of them, and I was suddenly able to sort of focus on the sounds, and the sounds that felt very boring. But so did most of them. And that's because this isn't, you know, some sort of neurofunk drum and bass hardcore track. So that's okay, because it's not really important. I was talking to a student earlier today about complexity and catchiness, and how you don't necessarily have to have a track that is the most complex tour de force of sound design for it to be a catchy, nice song. And this fit the bill of a nice, catchy song. So good job with that. And people seem to dig it. And hey, a couple subscribers. Wow. I am pleased. Thank you for subscribing. Anyway, the mix felt good, which is important. All the flow was very good. Like none of it really felt out of place or jarring or anything. It went and did what it was doing, and it did it well. So it worked out good. Let's find us another track. Here's Tetrify. That's your name now. I know it's Tetris or something, I guess, because it has a 5 and an S. You're Tetrify. That's your name now. The track is called Bass Face, so I'm already excited. That's my bass face. In the chat was just like, why didn't you just say nice piece of music and move on? Because that wouldn't be valuable feedback, would it? Whips are fine. Submit remixes. I'm noticing that this is kind of staying near 0 dB. Yeah, too much compression. All right. The primary thing, my primary problem with this is like the mix. The drums don't hit hard enough. The snare has almost no punch. It it looks like your bass, like your tonic, was like C, and not low C, like really high C, and that made the sub feel really weird when like you had it beneath your bass there because it was just way too high. Not only that, but you feel like you high passed your bass also way too high, and that didn't work out very well. The chat is full of dead mouse heads. That's yeah, it was in D minor. Okay, close. I was trying to judge it based on the EQ there. I wasn't actually trying to. I just didn't have the key, but point being, way too high. Also, just a bit too much compression. I mentioned that already. In general, before you compress things, I like to make it so that the drums are peaking louder than everything else, so that when it is compressed, it kind of it's rather even. It evens it out. It's pretty good. What else? The strings had too much low end in them, and it also felt kind of weird when there was drums and strings and nothing else. It kind of felt like an odd sort of an odd choice there. What else? I was going to mention. Oh yeah, that. That's a song. It's in my head now. It's a classical thing. Like I'll probably figure it out later. But anyway, work on the mixing stuff. The arrangement also kind of had weirdness to it. The bass was cool sounding, but it didn't really flow very well. It didn't like it was the beat was there, so I can go like, yeah, cool beat, but like the bass was just sort of doing its own thing. It's seemingly, it kind of was yeah. See, I like how people are quoting Tristan and See the Walking for it, but it's way older than that. I guarantee you. Like, in fact, the last time I remember hearing it was in a movie when they were parodying it. I'm trying to remember what the hell it was. It was, yeah. You can hear the harpsichord and shit. Like, I don't remember. Whatever. New track. New track. And here's a sub. One of the ones that just subbed. %, finish with an exclamation point. TD chasing the tangerine. Should let your tangerines get away from you, man. I guess this is the story of chasing a tangerine that got away. It is Tenacious D. Yes, thank you. That was a Beethoven thing, wasn't that? Apparently being Whittler rated. Thanks, Mr. Whittler. A fade out. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Cool. So yeah, that was obviously a pre-master, so I can't like that. Obviously needs to be mastered. I wouldn't say that mastering is the 1%. You know, that need to make that work. Although that might work out pretty okay the way it is, provided you know the right kind of multi-band compression to bring up the high end to match everything else. It just felt like it felt like the drums do not have nearly enough punch to survive the kind of mastering that this track would need to become what I think are trying to go for. The melody was very meandering and like meandering. I don't know what meandering is, but meandering. That's what the melody was doing, and like it wasn't very engaging. It also was very busy. Like I felt like there was two melodies going on that had nothing to do with each other, and then the chords were also just kind of on there, and it was sort of hard to follow really what you wanted to do with that. You know what I mean? There didn't appear to be much of a hook that I could sort of repeat and remember. Like I can't remember that track. Like nothing about it was memorable, which is hard. It's not like I have an answer to how to make anything memorable, but like that track was not. What else? Snare high end, pretty much everything high end, but like I said, compression can kind of help with that. The sound design was also really bland, but I'm always going to nitpick that, and it's really just kind of personal opinion. So if that matters to you, then there you go. What else? Yeah, like honestly, just turning up the drums from where they are right now, just making them louder, and then when you master it, it'll probably work out pretty okay. But I'd be curious to see what would happen if you tried to master what that is now. It'd be a bit difficult. Yeah, so I hope that helps. New track. Gonna try and get a sub. Yeah, you can't really see. I already have 56 submissions, just so you guys know. 56 that I haven't read yet. Whatever, I'm just gonna do Teddy Williams. Hey, Mr. Williams. He's one of my students. Let's see if he's learned anything. Is this the drop? Interesting. I was trying to tell that the drums that are happening during the middle bit there were the same ones that happened during the drop, and I can't tell. So Teddy, I feel like we've had this conversation, but this is usually where I bring up the idea about listening to reference tracks, because well, I mean that I'm not really. Yeah, so sidechaining is important, especially for stuff like this. You're gonna need to do that. You need to figure out how to do that a lot. A lot of those basses, well, even were basses, needed to have separate subs. The one growl that you did have that had any kind of bass with it was kind of grungy in the low end. You'd high pass that and have a separate sub. So that's kind of important. The arrangement and like the sort of melodic presence was really just kind of everywhere, and that honestly, it's I think the most important thing you can get from a reference track is just feeling how things groove. Because as much as we all want to be original, we all want to be unique, and we all want to do things that are our own, that kind of thing. Yeah, everything that you're going to do is going to be influenced by stuff you've heard before. Things that you like, what you think is good music, is like going to be based on music you've heard all throughout your life. And even if you're not paying attention to it when you're listening to it, and then you're trying to make something, the ideas that are coming to you are going to be based on stuff that you've heard before. And this is important because if you're, like I said before, you listen to it and you're not paying attention to it because you're not trained to. Like, why would you ever? But then when you're trying to make the stuff, it's good that you need to listen to the music and actually pay attention to it in a technical sense. And then you learn things about identifying the parts that feel good to you, and then identifying why they feel good to you, and then learning how to do that so that you can make the music that feels good to you. Because stuff like this, I really don't think that was primarily what you were trying to like go for. You know, that wasn't really what you were thinking. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what sounds good. That sounded a lot more like a test of your DAW's ability to render things. So that's sort of my suggestions about that whole thing, which again, pretty sure we had that conversation. All right. Dawn Athwan, Metaphasia, that's you. Okay, cool. A sub. Crowstorm? So, Murder Storm? I feel like I've heard this already. Okay, no, I haven't. I'm sorry. Someone I guess must have used this loop already. You guys and your outros, man. So, I like the drum mix in this. It's pretty good. It's nice and sharp. The riffs usage seemed very weirdly arranged and kind of random. The flow was weird. The rises were weird. This is a very weird track, and like I'm okay with that if you are, but I just want you to know that it was weird. Sound design was kind of okay. I liked a couple of those sounds in there. It's just like the mashing of certain sounds together, like that second drop with the rising and the bassing, but they fit like didn't really connect, you know. Some high passing was required there, and like, is there something like every track that I've listened to so far has been like really high pitched, and maybe it's just me, but it just seems that way. Burp, motherfucker. Okay. Wow, someone. Okay. Actually, let me check to make sure I actually said this. Checking my own page to make sure I'm not finished yet. When I say MP3s only, I totally said that. And a guy just shared with me a wave. Not gonna do that. Someone just sent me a Mediafire link. Oh my god. Yeah, let's go back to some older submissions because right now there are 67 unviewed tracks. Here, 8-bit-ish demo. You guys, I'm sure you guys will like this. Guys, it's nostalgia flavored. At least you had a separate sub. Congratulations. Do you like metal? I ask because this reminds me of a lot of metal tracks that just like change time signature and like their beat just constantly. And that's kind of what that felt like right there. And like I could be okay. But like a lot of the metal bands that do this, that pretty much sacrifices flow entirely. So always use reversed cowbells pitch down for kick drums. Very good. I agree with this. So, I mean, apparently this was the second track the guy ever made. So as far as that goes, it's not that bad. But it is a little weird. So study up on some stuff. And actually, a lot of the advice that I gave previous beginner tracks should apply. All right, this is Stone. Every name this guy has, I can't pronounce. Stone something. It's one of the subs. Stone Knot. Okay, I guess I can pronounce that. Stone Knot one. That dude. But his actual name is Marcus. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Did I already play this? I must not have. No, I did not in this. Anyway. I remember this now. I downloaded it for short usage in the last mix, last Friday mix before that got killed. And I remember my thought on this was, did you high pass your kick to be above the sub? Like, I guess it worked, but it's very odd. And it kind of removed a little bit of the punch from the kick. I think it did, anyway. The kick itself might have not been ever that big, but there you go. I like the style. It definitely felt very, very like mysterious, that kind of thing. I like that. I like that groove. That's probably why I downloaded it for the mix. So finish it. Finish that track. I order you. 69 tracks. High pass kicks are apparently a thing. sorry for skipping around your track. It's 7.5 minutes long, and I really want to play the whole thing. I know what you're going for with this track, and you're kind of there. You're not like not that close, but you're on the right track. So good. Some of that reverb was bleeding into the next notes, and that kind of blurred the key a little bit, which made some of the notes sound wrong as a result. That happened a lot in this track. That kind of bigness that I think you were going for, the kind of like arena-ness thing, like, you guys okay? Apparently, I generated a giant screech. I don't recall. I didn't even see it happen in the meter. Jeez. So anyway, yeah. So I mean, normally I would say that separate sound and all that kind of thing, but I also know that like it's not uncommon for this genre to have all the bass in the kick itself and have it be very progressive and top heavy, that kind of thing. So that's fine. That was fine. The snare was a little weird, but like. So was pretty much every snare that's ever been in this genre ever. So I can't really comment much on that because it can work. You can make it work like that if you really want to. I mostly recommend just listen to. Don't send me WAV files. I totally just said in the thing, only MP. Just read the instructions. I understand English isn't everyone's first language, so I apologize if I'm being discriminatory, but read the instructions. Copy it and paste it into Google Translate. Anyway, besides, I'm pretty sure MP3s is a universal term. Wasn't the same with this track. So, yeah, listen to a track that's sort of where you're trying to get to and sort of try and take apart all the individual elements and try to see how it feels, that kind of thing. Normally, in most of the time when I talk about master and pre-master, I usually say the idea that you do a pre-master where you try to make it sound as good as possible without lack of compression and make it nice, even mixing, that kind of thing. That and then you master it and make it as loud as you can without damaging the original vision. And that doesn't really work very well for some of the louder, more intense genres. But for stuff like this, that would work very well. And I wouldn't worry too much about mastering or compression, in fact, while you're trying to construct it and trying to arrange it to fit sort of the when you're trying to fit the what the hell am I trying to say? When you're trying to fit the arrangement of sort of like your target tracks. And also, if you haven't ever analyzed a track before on purpose, then you should do that too. Okay. Someone said their tracks and stems. I'm not gonna do that. Jeez. And someone said, wait, so I should have put a massive maximus while working on a track? For certain genres, that's not something I recommend. If you're going to do the hardest neuro drum and bass or really heavy dubstep and a hard-hitting electro kind of stuff, then yes, I do recommend you do that, just as I do. Because I have reasons for, liking that, but that doesn't work for every genre. Just like doing the pre-master without compression and then compressing it later doesn't work for those genres either, just in my own opinion. So... I totally address these file format questions. I do that for your benefit. 75 on red tracks. I swear to God, I thought someone said a JPG. All right. Drum step. I'm okay with that. Let's have some drum step. I've just given up trying to find subs. I apologize to my subs. I will come up with a better system for this in the future. That was the end. This is a whip. Yeah. So this is apparently made by a dude named Rulark. If anyone was curious. Parts of that were like on point, but then the other parts were like weirdly not. And they were like not in a way that was only consistent, but in individual sections. It's like they didn't have anything to do with each other, and they were not created together. That's kind of what that felt like. It was just very weird to listen to. That's something I've encountered before. But the main bit was very okay. You know, it was pretty fine. The sub could have been louder and separate. I have a feeling it was actually attached to that main higher synth. An actual separate sub, I think, would have worked out a little bit better, be a little more stable. The drums hit hard and felt great. It felt pretty good during the drop. Everything else around it kind of felt ticky and weird, sort of feeling to me anyway. Didn't flow in a way that I enjoyed. Could have used a little more like bass variation, I think, personally, but I think it's rather okay. It's rather okay. New track. Scroll down to something old just so that I don't like miss everything ever. It's funny to watch whistling in the spectrum. Yeah, why not? I'm gonna pick not that guy. Minus 80 dBx. I'm alright with that. Mr. Tanner. For a second I thought I was serious. Outros are apparently difficult things, which I guess I can attest to in my own efforts. So if you'd like to high pass the kick again, I say again as if you're all the same person, but it's high pass, very high pass kick. It should be lower than the sub. It should go all the way down, not necessarily all the way down, like like to 0 hertz, because you can't do that, but like it should go at least to your sub. Also, I saw that you had a separate sub, but it needs to be like 4 times louder than that. I don't know what system you're on where that sounds like it's bassy enough, but it's not. But yeah, lots of increasing the sub on the kick. The sound design choice was really awkward, and the flow was a little weird. The melody was a little weird. I almost said the melody. The melody a little weird. Work on the weirdness. There's not really a lot of like practical advice I could give towards fixing that, other than just to tell you that I thought it was weird. Zaha or Taha, you didn't put the thing in the track. This thing, a lot of you not putting the viewer track review tag in the title, like I said to. Man, y'all need to take the instruction tests. Whatever. First one, let's do this. Sand Nova? A nova of sand? That sounds awful. Yep, that sounds like a sand nova. pausing this track to draw attention to Julian 1232's incredible typo misspelling SoundCloud for Spund Cloud. I am way too enamored with how hilarious of a typo that is, and I require that everyone be made aware of it. Spund Cloud. S-P-U-N-D Cloud. Spund Cloud. That happened. Spund. What is a spud? I'm sure that's a word. I'm sure it means something. It's not like spud cloud, where it's like a potato cloud. It's spun cloud. My God, back in the track. Fade outs. So, actually, well, the first thing I want to draw attention to is that last new bass that got introduced in that last drop there, the one that began the drop, it lacked like all the higher frequency definition of every bass around it, so it sounded really dull. Really good job doing this Terror Squad bass, and the rest of the basses sounded pretty okay, I suppose. I mean, they were good. They were good, and like the separate sub was on point. That's how you should do a separate sub, ladies and gentlemen. The in-between bits made no sense. The breakdown, the intro, and the bridge, and all that was just everywhere, and doesn't represent the quality of what was going on during the drop. So that's clearly where you need to focus your work, because you apparently have drops down pat. Was I gonna say anything about the mix? I don't think I was. That sample, that vocal sample, was weird. It was super weird. Anyway, next track. If you want to submit a track, scroll down, read the information present. Uh, 88 tracks. Enough to go back in time. This guy's name is Nightcore Bass. I'm interested. I'll look at the Spun Cloud link. This is already going to be amazing. I can tell. Way too much compression. Also, the high frequency noise is so loud. Look at that. My God.
Feel the bass. Feel the bass.
That's enough of that track. I can formulate reasonable criticisms. So the high frequency, the sound effect is cool, but it's way too loud. Like it does not even be that, even a little bit that loud to cut through the mix. So like, don't worry about like higher frequency things like hats and like stuff like that and the leads and that sort of thing. Do not need to be as loud as lower frequency things to sound as loud as low frequency things. So this means that you don't have to have them be that loud, and they'll cut right through the mix and not worry about anything. So you can turn them down, and you can not worry about your headroom so much. The track was it was over compressed, like you pushed it too hard into the compressor, but also it wasn't being compressed fast enough, or perhaps it was being compressed too fast. Mess around with the time variables of your compressor, the release time, the attack time, those things, the head and the delay if you're using Maximus. Mess around with those because they matter a lot. And what does sound as like too much compression could just be that it's not fast enough. So mess around with that. The arrangement of this track was ridiculous. I will, however, salute you for using my broken voice as the sample, the drop sample. For those of you who don't know, last year, a year before last, I got sick, and that's what my voice sounded like. There was not editing on that sample. That's just what it sounded like. There's actually, if you go to my SoundCloud, you can find a playlist called Seamless's Broken Voice. And there's a whole bunch of little things that I said from people who suggested things to say. And one of them was Feel the Bass. And that was me. But yeah, work on the compression. Don't worry too much about the high frequency mixing thing. Like listen to references and like look at how loud, for real, look how loud their high frequency stuff is, and realize that it's not anywhere near as loud as what you're doing. There's a reason for that. Yeah. Like, I want to go find me saying that on my SoundCloud now, just so people understand. Yeah, Seamless's busted voice was what I called it. The whole thing. Feel the Bass was the last one.
Feel the bass.
There it is. That's me going feel the bass, but I have a cold, so my throat's like fuck you.
Melting.
Shut up.
The embrit.
All right, SoundCloud's broken. I said a bunch of other stuff too, and some of them are kind of funny. Just so that you understand so you can kind of hear me do it. It sounds kind of like it when I'm like, feel the bass, feel the bass, feel the bass, and like it's easier to do that when I'm sick because my throat's all like fuck you. Spun Cloud. That sounds like some weird like Spinner's Etsy. Know what I mean? Some kind of artsy, stupid shit. Spun Cloud. Spun Cloud. Dubstep. I'm okay with that. Here we go. Dubbing the step. distortion wasn't on purpose. My God. But also, I wanted to mention a while ago, I forget whose track it was. Somebody had distorted kicks on their track, and it didn't sound very good. I think it was Drum Step Guy. I think that's who it was. That's how you do an outro. I want whoever made this to go and Google 12-tone music, because I think you'll be really good at it. I actually would have liked how that drop sounded and felt if it weren't for like the destructive compression. And I don't even necessarily mean that it shouldn't sound compressed, like, because I like how compression sounds on things. It's just like that was just too much. And like, I think that you should, like, it's just, you know, again, time variables mostly are kind of to blame for how this feels at the moment. So I think that you could make that work. It's just a bit much. Your melody, you had to have known that your melody was ridiculous. So I'm not gonna talk about that because I cannot have anything other than things that you wanted to do or things that you're just like, screw it, bass is good. And I recognize some of those basses, so good on you. That was fun. That was a good time. Yeah. And the 3 drops. 3 drops. 96 submissions. All right, this guy's track is not dubstep, so let's listen to that. All right, for once we have a kick that goes all the way down. I was told there wouldn't be dubstep. I was told there'd be house. I was told there wouldn't be. Too much compression. If you had this synth the whole time, why did you use that other one in the first drop? For anybody wondering, this actually is 0 dB down here because it's coming in quieter through the preamps. This is from the first drop, and I really was being happy with the idea that it wasn't gonna come back, and now it's back. Did two different people make this track? Because like this part is just not mixed even half as well as what just happened. And then DJ outro. So, like, there's this. And there's this. I don't understand. Did you, like, forget? I mean, you obviously didn't forget because you put it back. Like, I thought my first question when this was done was going to be, like, did you forget about the first half of the song? Because the second half made a lot more sense. And the first half, not so much. But then, no, you brought it back. So, like, you intended for that to be there like that. And like I'm not even saying it's bad. I'm saying I don't like it, but I'm not saying it's necessarily that it's bad. I'm just confused as to the decisions that can lead to that. Yeah, because the chorus and the melody, and like not only that, but like the intro also kind of led me to believe that there'd be a certain level of quality in the first drop that just wasn't met until the second half of the song. That was weird, man. That was weird, man. Anyway. Wow. All right, 102 submissions. None. Okay, another this is not dubstep. Scrap metal. Didn't I already listen to this? I feel like I did. Nope. isn't the newest version. Why did you send it to me? Why? What would have been the point of sending me a track that you've already changed? I feel like someone's done this before. What? Okay, well, what I was going to say about this track was that it had too much high end. The ride was way too loud, and you mostly had the same deal with higher frequency things as pretty much everyone else I've already mentioned, which I know you've heard because you were here. I recognize you being in the chat for that. Probably on someone else's. Chip tuning drum and bass. I'm into that. Let's do this. Download. Because it's a Dropbox link. Link. It was alright. The mix was substantially better than the previous one. The previous one that had a chip tuning. That's what I was trying to say. But like it involved like the basses were kind of okay, but it didn't really fit with like the tone. Like the tone matching was not so wonderful. It's yeah. It's just, I mean, whatever. The mix was okay in that regard, but like they didn't really fit well with each other, and the flow was kind of awkward. And like this is sort of another one of those things where there wasn't much of a hook that I can't really remember what the track sounded like. I can't like hum it, you know, the kind of thing, because there's just kind of a lot of notes happening. So that's sort of how that feels to me. 110 tracks. Okay, a Bandcamp link is a bit much. If I have to enter in a password, that's not gonna. Or rather, if I have to like do a donation or ask for a donation, if it tells me to do 0, that's too many steps. Okay, this one actually just says dubstep, so let's do one that is supposedly be apparently dubstep. This one's called Sandcrawler. So who expects like crap ton of white noise this time? Who expects that? I do. Oh. Basically no white noise. Look at this incredible notch. It just ruins everything from 5K to 3K. There's not even anything to fit in there. It just is. This cavernous expanse of there's like silence in some parts. It's almost like this was designed to fit my voice. Look at it. That's where my voice lives. It's a little better. Look, my voice fits here perfectly. So if you have like a guy singing or something, this will work fine. Whoever made this, I don't understand you. I don't understand your mind. All right, we're coming up on the 2 hours, the first half of today's stream. I'm going to go upstairs and get a drink. And when I come back, we'll keep doing this for 2 more hours. Feel free to continue submitting tracks. I now have 114 tracks. So many. I'll try and be a bit more sporadic in my selection of tracks just to be more evenly distributed. Spundless R. I just saw that on Twitter. All right. I'm going to play an ad so that I can leave. Be right back.